Golly, that's good.
I cracked myself up. I still haven't found my first Blantons. That's different. I really like that.
They're like together, like peas and carrots.
That's funny. Sometimes accidents are good things. Peychaud's or Peychaud's or Pachaw. This is not what I expected. Hey everybody. It is Thursday and it is Bourbcast time. Kim's watching. Hey Kim, how are you? So I suppose you're wondering why I started off with this photo. This is not whiskey. That is not whiskey. No. On the left is Chewy. On the right is Barkley. I had to put Barkley to sleep last July, and I had to put Chewy to sleep yesterday. So this is a show that is in tribute to the babies. And that's about all I'm going to say about that. I will tell you, though, that the house just seems a little bit too quiet, a little bit too empty, without a dog here, let alone two. So last night I went out because, again, the dog would normally snuggle up with me at night while I watched a movie or while I did work on the laptop or while I did drank bourbon. Never seemed to mind. But since I didn't have my snuggle buddy last night, I decided to go out. I called up a friend, said, hey, let's go do something, so we went out. And then today, he called me up and he says, hey, you need to get out of the house. I said, yes, I do. I need to get out of the house. So he says, well, let's go fishing. So we did. Hey, Larry, how are you? We went out and we did pretty well. We were only out there for a few hours and caught a nice bag of crappie. Now, I know the women watching this, they look at a guy with a picture of a fish and they're like, why? In a little bit of online dating stuff that I've seen, women hate these pictures, so I won't leave it up for, well, I won't leave it up. But, okay, if you're going to show your cats online, I'm going to show them a fish. If you're going to show me pictures of the food that you make, which I do too, pictures of your shoes that are so cute, you're going to get to see my fish. Pretty simple. Anyway, all right, so let's get into this because life happens. Whiskey helps. Is it whiskey? No, bourbon helps. Life happened yesterday, and we're going to go right here to the magic elixir. Can you believe? Can you believe I have never opened this bottle? Maker's 46 Cask Strength. If you look at this label is not the label that they currently use. They have a much different label now for the cask. This is an old bottle, and I've never opened it. I've never had this before. I love to fish. You do? Well, that's good to know. That's really good to know, Kim. I appreciate that. A lot of women don't dig that. I used to hate fishing, and I just in the last, I don't know, half a dozen years or so, I've really started to enjoy it, especially over the last 4 years. All right, let's get this poured. Again, Maker's Mark, they like doing this wax top. I'm not a fan. I mean, I get it. It's their trademark, but I got lucky. This one came off really good. A lot of the older bottles, this stuff just flakes off, and it's a mess, and this one wasn't so bad. All right, so Jordan's watching. Hey, Jordan, how are you? We'll get back to the tribute later on for those that join us later. We're dedicating this Bourbcast. But we'll get back to that. Let's get into this. Maker's Mark Cask Strength. So, this was introduced in 2015. When it was first introduced, it was only introduced in a 375 milliliter bottle. So, that would be half this size. And it wasn't as hot as this one. This one is 55.15, which is 110.3 proof. 110.3 proof. So, it's a warm one. Maker's Mark, the regular Maker's Mark starts off as standard Maker's Mark, which I put it away. Never mind. It's a wheated bourbon made in batches of less than 1,000 gallons per batch. Then heavily seared French oak staves are placed in just emptied standard Maker's Mark barrels. which are then refilled and returned to the warehouses to finish aging for estimation 2 to 3 additional months. So it's regular Maker's Mark, put in the French oak staves. Now, the reason that it's called Maker's 46 is because they had all these different staves, all these experiments that they did, and they numbered them. And it just so happens that the one that tasted the best as they were trying to come up with this new product was the 46th stave. Stave, for those who are new to this, a stave is a piece of wood that makes up the side of a bourbon barrel or a wine barrel, right? So it's all the individual planks that are bent, that are shaped. That's a stave. And so they had the barrel, which is Maker's Mark, and then they added a French oak stave to it. And it changed the flavor of it enough that if you don't like Maker's Mark, you'll probably like Maker's 46. I'm not a huge fan of Maker's Mark. I don't mind it. It just has a flavor profile that doesn't fit me as well as other bourbons and other wheated bourbons. But Maker's 46, because of that French oak stave, I really like this. It has more of the notes of a regular bourbon. So let's get into this. This is a Beam Suntory product, Maker's Mark, 110.3 proof. Mash bill on this is 70% corn, 16% wheat, 14% malted barley. Supposed to have been aged, like I say, about 4 years, and then an additional 2 to 3 months in the barrel with the oak stave in it. Really, there's not a whole lot more to talk about. This is $65 retail MSRP. I have 62. I see how you are. What was the high in Florida today, Jordan? Not that I really want to know. All right. Yeah, see, I love this. The nose on this is just very, very nice. There's a fruity side to it. There's definitely some cinnamon coming in on it. God. Yeah, there's I'm getting a little hazelnut, which is fun. Trying to think of what that fruit is. I want to say maybe black raspberry, or it's not black cherry. It's not tart like black cherry. So I'm thinking black raspberry. You were about 64. All right, so you beat Coachella Valley in California, Jordan. It's a war between the free state of Florida and California. All right. Yeah, real nice cinnamons. I'm getting some nice caramels. This is a drinking thing, so if you're ready, it's caramel if you have a degree. It's there. Now you have to drink. Chilly and overcast. You can say it. I wasn't going to call it California. I wasn't. We don't go there here. This is one place you're not going to catch that stuff. Except for that one slip up right there. Sorry, Mike. Sorry, everybody. This is one place you're not going to find politics. As best I can. Okay. Let's give this a try. Okay. Note to self, and to you as well by proxy. When you've stood out in the wind, and it was windy all day today, when you stand out in the wind fishing, you might come home and find that your lips are chapped. Then if you drink a 110.3 proof bourbon, you might feel that. Ow! But you don't want to put anything on, because then you can't taste the bourbon. All you taste is the stuff you... Yeah. All right. I'm outnumbered here. No, you're not. You're one of... Well, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. I've got stories for you, Mike. I can't tell them here, and I'm not going to tell them here, but I got stories for you that you would probably really love to hear. So much fun. So much fun. Anyway. You're not as alone as you think you are, and that's all I'm going to say. That's it. No more. No more. No more. Let's taste bourbon. I got people that watch that are on all sides of the spectrum. And that's why we just do one thing. We all get along on this one thing. And by golly, when we're doing this one thing is what matters. Because we all get along. And I like that. No matter where you're from, no matter what you believe, this is something we can all agree on. So, let's move forward. Alrighty. All right. That's nice. That's nice. That's a nice slow bloom. It's still there. It's still blooming. It's down the gullet already, and it's still that. I call it a bloom. It's a coffee term. That's my explanation. You can drink when I say that, because I do that a lot. That burn gets on the tongue, and it moves, and it grows, and the finish on that bloom itself was long. Because when you first take it in and you have it on your palate, it didn't really bloom. It didn't burn. I was thinking to myself, wow, this is really mild for 110 proof. And then, then it starts to grow. And then it's like, ooh, this is cask strength. It's a very appropriate bloom. It doesn't go too far. It's not too hot. It's just right. And I like Maker's 46. I really like this. But I'm one of those guys, the more you drink this stuff, the more you start to get accustomed to the higher proofs and more used to the higher proofs. And now, an 80 proof pour, while some people might go, ah, I'm like, where's the booze? You've heard of where's the beef? Where's the booze? Need a little Clara. Let's see, what is we believe you need to make deliveries so we can share it with you. This would put you two on the floor. You'd have to help your friend back to her condo. If you can even get there yourself. I'm just saying. All right. And if you want me to make a delivery of a sample or something like that, do it on a day that isn't 30 minutes before the Bourbcast, and then maybe we can make it work out. They texted me 30 minutes before the Bourbcast, say, DoorDash us some of this bourbon. It's like, no. I've been out fishing all day. I've got a stocking cap on. I've got hot hat head. I cannot do a Bourbcast with hat head. I can't. I won't. So, needed to do the do. And the do. All right. And I wish I would have put something on my lips. All right. Okay. So, yeah, that's really nice. All the flavors you're looking for, the vanilla is there, which wasn't on the nose. It's here on the palate. Really nice cinnamons. That oak is just perfect. Perfect amount of oakiness in it. We caught a little bit of vanilla, but I caught a little bit of honey. A couple things that weren't on the nose as well. We have Uber. We do not have Uber. Do we have Uber? I don't think we have Uber. I bet not. Whoops. Sounds a wee bit spicy for me. I'm going to stick to 80 proof. Making faces, that's scary. All my faces are scary, even this one, Jordan. Let's be real. Thought I'd say it before somebody else did, Kim. But yeah, so I'm enjoying the higher proof, and I think, Jordan, as you get into it, if you start getting serious about your bourbons, you're going to eventually get higher as well, and you're going to find why people like cask strength bourbons, why people like high proof bourbons. It's just, if you like the 80 proof, just the flavors are so much more intensified and so much more complex when it's not watered down. Because you got to remember, everything that comes out of that still, everything that comes out of distillation, is barrel strength. When you get pardon me, when you get an 80 proof pour, it's because they diluted it down to 80 proof. That means, imagine a glass of lemonade, right? If you get fresh squeezed lemonade, and then you get, let's say you get a half glass of it, and then you take a half glass of water and dump it in there, what's it going to do to the lemonade? Right? It's going to dilute it. You're not going to have as much flavor. Well, the same thing with bourbon. The more water you put in it, the less flavor because you dilute it out. So cask strength is going to be your most flavorful, your most full-bodied version of the whiskey that you drink. So eventually, if you really get into it, I mean, I didn't start getting into it really until like 2018, 2019. I started getting into, I think, Woodford Reserve like maybe 2015 or 16, something like that. But it took me a long time to go back to bourbon after I got sick on it as a kid. Well, as a young adult. That's the truth, young adult. So it took me a long time. And then it's been, a 4 or 5 year journey to get to a place now where I like cask strength pours. So we got some really heavy hitters in the proof department that we're going to be hitting this year. So you just wait and see. All right, one more of these, then we're going to put it on water. Kevin from Toledo checking in. Awesome, Kevin. How are you? Because Coachella Mike always says it the same way. Coachella Mike checking in. So Kevin is checking in. And thank you for joining us, Kevin. Since you're new here today, not new, you deserve to know that this is a tribute broadcast. The one on the right I had to put down in July. The one on the left I had to put down yesterday. So we're doing a tribute to the fur babies today. And quite frankly, I could use a drink. Life happens, bourbon helps. So I went fishing today, got out of the house, and that's about it. I got up, had something to eat, went fishing. It was fun. Okay, so water. I mean, I got friends that drink 80 proof and they go, ha. I understand it, Jordan. I just missed my last splat. And sometimes I do like an 80 proof pour. I'm not going to be a proof hound all the time. There are definitely times I prefer the 80 proof pour, especially if I'm going Irish. If I'm going to do Irish whiskey, there are few Irish whiskeys that go above 80. So sometimes I like that smooth, right? Wild Turkey's got a great 81. Evan Williams 80. Four Roses is a bit spicy for their 80 proof. Basil Hayden is 80 proof and it's overpriced, so don't buy that. Chris is watching. Hey Chris, how are you? I'm glad you're here. Thanks for watching. And thank you for your note. Much appreciated. All right, so this is with a little water on it. So again, what did I do? I just proofed it down, right? I put water in it, so I proofed it down. But I didn't put a lot of water into it. And what this may do is actually open it up more for those of you that are new and give me more flavors. And actually, it could be hotter on just a little bit of water. Let's find out. Not hotter, not better. No. Makers does this cask strength Makers 46. And those of you just tuning in, I know this is a really old bottle. They don't make this label like this anymore. It's completely different. I think even the bottle's different. One of my faves. Yeah, this is really good. I don't like it on water. I added about 1 milliliter, and it took everything away from it. It was like a divorce. I'm going to take that, thank you. I'm going to take all the flavor out of your life. Kind of what it's like, right? I'm going to finish this, even though I don't like it on water. I mean, it's got flavor, but it took all the character out of it. Took all the complexity out of it, took the heat out of it. Just tastes watered down. Jordan, you'd probably like this. I'm not being slightful. I'm not being snide. But if you like an 80 proof pour, get the Makers 46 and put some water on it. put it on ice, because ice will also bring down the heat and smooth out the flavors. I say it mutes the flavors, so try it. Get a Maker's 46. I think you'll like it. All right. I've already, so Chris, something I think you might know about me, maybe, is that I try to always look on the positive. I try to look on the bright side of life. What he says is, glad to see your sense of humor tonight. I remember one time, and I don't want to get morose. I'm not going to go down, but I'm going to tell you a story that it's shaped a lot of the way I look at things. My grandmother was an absolute saint. She was a faithful woman. She went through a lot. I mean, she went through a lot. She had a son that died in Vietnam. She had a son that died in a car accident. All that was left was my mom. She went deaf. She went blind in one eye because she fell through a cabinet. She went through a lot, and her faith never waned. We were at her youngest, there were 5 kids, and we went to her youngest brother's funeral. My grandmother lived to be 100. She outlived all of them. And we went to his funeral, and I looked over. My grandmother looked at me. I was sitting right next to her. She said, "That's my baby brother." And I said, "I'm really sorry you lost your baby brother." And she looked at me. She was always very, very... I take that back. She wasn't always very, very, I was going to say, matter of fact. She was a lovely lady, and she loved to laugh, and she loved to have fun, and she spoiled us rotten. I'm telling you, she spoiled us rotten. Great grandma. The stereotypical dictionary version of a grandma. This was her. But here we are at this funeral, and I said, "I'm sorry that you lost your brother." And she looks at me, she says, "Nothing we can do about it." So when she passed away at the age of 100 in 2011, I delivered the eulogy, and I brought up that story. And at the end of the eulogy, I said, "I'm going to go on and live my life and be glad that I met my grandma and that she was a wonderful person, because at the end of the day, there's nothing you can do about it." So it's the same thing when you lose a furry friend. Yesterday, I'm not going to tell you that I wasn't having a time. And the day before. But you know what? There's nothing you can do about it. So you got to live a life full of gratitude. And I'm grateful that you're here. And I'm grateful that I'm drinking this. Well, not watered down. Nah. If you don't have gratitude, you don't have anything. So I wake up in the morning and I try to name out the things that I'm grateful for, mostly being able to wake up. There's some people that don't get to do that, like my uncle. You've heard of the big gulp? That was it. It's actually better if you have to water it like that. Taking a big gulp like that brings some of the flavor back. Chris is watching. Chris Rancourt, how are you, sir? Glad you're here. All right, let's do this on ice. Because I didn't care for it on water, I'm going to guess I'm not going to love it on ice. And here's another drink, all right? Get that shot glass ready. Time for a gorgeous ice sphere. Oh! And I hear 100 elbows cracking. Crack. It's beautiful, isn't it? Isn't that gorgeous? Ugh. I want to kiss it, but my lips would stick to it. That's creativity in action right there. Right there. Who thinks like I do? There's nobody that thinks like I do. Thankfully. Still better than Basil Hayden. Everything's better than Basil Hayden. Well, that's a lie. But most everything is better than Basil Hayden. I did a Bourbcast on Basil Hayden because I had the toast, and I had the regular. And by the end of it, I was like, okay, I don't hate this. It doesn't mean I love it. It doesn't mean I want to drink it. All right. Cheers. Okay. I will tell you, it presents better on ice than it did on water, thankfully. So could you use this in a cocktail? Sure. Why? But you could. Again, 70% corn, 16% wheat, 14% malted barley. So the fruit notes are going to be there because of the malted barley. That wheat is going to give it a soft feel compared to a rye. And it's not going to have that rye spice. So it's going to drink easier anyway. And it does. And that French oak stave that they add is just, that's where the flavor comes in. That's good stuff. I like that a lot. And this on ice is not too bad, actually. I think I kind of like. Jordan says, stop taking jabs at me with your watered down slights. Grandma always have something to teach you. If you just listen, they've lived a long time. She did live a long time. She was in high school before she had indoor plumbing. And nowadays people are complaining because they don't have Wi-Fi. I mean, my other grandmother lived in a trailer. She lived until she was 99. She was up there. I don't remember. Maybe 90 something. But she was a farm girl. Nothing fazed that woman at all. She was faithful as well, but I remember her pipes froze. One winter, her pipes froze. She didn't give a rip. She took a bucket in the bathroom, took care of business, and took it outside and threw it in the meadow. I remember as a kid going, I will not be going to the bathroom today. Nothing fazed her. And she played harmonica and she sang and she was just a jovial, happy person. She would not let us watch television, though. Not because she wouldn't let us watch television, but because she lived alone and she talked all through every show until her shows came on, and then it was, she called them her stories. They were soap operas. She loved the soap operas. And Liberace, his show, and who's the guy with the bubbles? Not Liberace. Who's Lawrence Welk. Those shows came on. Shut up. Shh, 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 shh. My shows are on. Shh. They're my stories. But Battlestar Galactica comes on, you're not hearing a word of it. Trent's watching. Jeff is watching. Hey. Speaking of Jeff, he will be here next week. That's what next week's pour is. I don't have it to show it to you because I don't own it. But Jeff has a hold of the Knob Creek 18, which I did not get and quite frankly did not hunt for because, you know, it is what it is. But Jeff gets out more than I do. And Jeff found the Knob 18, and he will be here next week as a special guest and allowing me to try the Knob Creek 18. So if you have been curious about Knob 18, this is your opportunity to come and watch and learn about Knob 18. And we will not be talking about funerals or dead dogs or anything next week, I promise. Did I show you my dogs? Okay, I'm done. My ice sphere broke. But even after sitting in the ice for a little while, it's got some nice body, nice complexity, nice flavor. Better than water for sure. So if you're going to do the cask strength Maker's Mark 46, I would tell you to do it neat, or if you have to cool it down, do it on ice. Maybe a nice compromise would be to just take that glass. Don't put the whole bottle in the freezer. Don't do that. You might have guests. Don't do that. But take your glass, pour some in it, put that in the freezer for yourself. I know a lot of people that put their booze in the freezer. Don't do that. Don't. All right. So again, next week, Jeff will be here. We'll be doing Knob Creek 18. I went through and started the calendar for the rest of this year, and we're up until July, and that doesn't even account for the fact that, get this, here we go. Here we go. I have put the call out. This Bourbcast is leaving this basement occasionally in 2024. I've got a couple different bars already, 3 right now, that are interested in having us come to their bar, meet their star bartender, and do a Bourbcast there. They are going to introduce a bourbon to me that I have not had, which means prior conversation. We're going to talk about that bourbon, and then they're going to make a drink out of it. For you, and I've stipulated I want it to be a drink that you can easily make at home with at-home ingredients, and I don't want to do the same thing that everybody else does. I don't want to do a Sazerac. I don't want to do an old-fashioned or a... Not that stuff, right? Something different. Something that you created would be great. If you want to do this, if you're a bar owner or you know somebody that owns a bar, you know a star bartender, and you don't think that maybe I know them too and we haven't gotten in touch, well, get in touch with them. Say, hey, do you want to do a live Bourbcast sometime in 2024? We'll take all the equipment and go to their location, film it, and then run it here, on a Thursday night for all of you. I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. They got us traveling, too. I mean, we're not going to be all just right here. Because people all over everywhere look at this thing eventually, and I'm grateful. So 2024 is going to be so much fun. And I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. You don't have to be here, but you are, and I'm grateful. And thank you for that. Especially tonight when we're, doing the dogs! Okay, I'm done. All right. So, Jeff, looking forward to next week. I know I just got something in, so let me look. Hey, Trent. Honestly, didn't hunt that hard for it. Just happened to be in the right liquor store at the right time. That's the way it always is, isn't it, though? Right? I mean, when you finally find the bottle, you just happen to be there when it's there. I mean, the last Eagle Rare I bought, we walked in the door looking for something else, and there it was. Meh, gimme. No brainer. There were 2 left. My friend and I both grabbed one and said, that's it. Jordan, yeah, it sounds fun, and I can't wait. I cannot wait to get out on the road, take this out of the basement, and meet some people, and have some fun. It's going to be a blast. Like I said, I've got 3 so far, and I haven't put out the call real hard yet. And it's going to be tough, too, because I've already, scheduled different stuff that's in the works. Like, I've got a month that's going to be dedicated to pours that I think, I don't know, but just guessing that they're going to be yucky. I have a whole month dedicated to those pours. I have another whole month dedicated to doing just nothing but benchmark, because they've got 6 different bottles, and I've got them all, and I haven't opened any of them. Never. Not once. So, I got plans. 2024 is going to be a lot of fun. I hope you stick around. Thank you for sticking around tonight. I look forward to next week with Jeff and Knob Creek 18. If you haven't had it, you may really want to check out that Bourbcast. We'll be here live next week, 7 o'clock, and then it'll go on YouTube when I sober up, or soon thereafter. This is fun, and I really appreciate you being here, especially as we give tribute to the dogs. You take care, and we will see you next Thursday.